All right, welcome to The Way It Should Be. I'm JD.
I'm Dean.
Dean. So it's kind of fitting today. We're out here, rural America,
Yep.
and have a major fire going on.
It's a big one.
It's huge. It's at right now, I think actually it's 3 fires. The last I heard, it's 3 fires going. I counted 4. 4 planes dumping water and 3 helicopters dumping water, and roads blocked off everywhere. Towns kind of coming together, going. They're bringing ice chests and waters and ice, and looks like now they're starting to cook for the. They're starting up to cook for the fire department. We have, I don't know how many agencies are here, but I mean, it looked like, I mean, some as far away as 60 miles away are here.
Yeah.
So anyway, we thought it'd be a good idea to bring a fireman on today. We had been kicking this idea around anyway. And so we thought, well, why not have a fireman on here as there's a massive fire raging about 3 miles away from us.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got some interesting stories.
So, Cody, why don't you kind of give us a synopsis who you are, how you became a fireman, and we'll go from there.
So I've been on the fire department for it's almost 10 years now, and I started in the military. I was in the Navy for 6 years, I think, and then after I got out of that, I joined the fire department, just trying to be closer to home. It's been a lot more entertaining, a lot more fun, but also going to stay close to home for my family and all that.
So high school straight into the service, and service straight into becoming a fireman.
Fire department.
To a fireman or fire department.
Did you do firefighting in the Navy or?
So on a ship, they kind of train everybody. I mean, everybody has to have some basic understanding of it because there is nobody else to call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But not the primary firefighting team on there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
So, what do you like most about being a fireman?
So starting off, the whole idea was one to help people, and it'd be cool to do stuff like that. But then it's just kind of turned into, it's been fun. I mean, it's probably the most enjoyable job that you can have that's not a real job, like where you hang out and I mean it's real work, but it's not something that you're gonna go sit behind the desk for.
Yeah, it's kind of that saying: find something you love to do, and you'll never work a day in your life. It's kind of that.
Exactly.
You know what else I would always thought would be good about it is you're probably the only civil servant that people don't hate.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that would have beef with a firefighter.
So have you had people that have beef with a fireman?
Yeah. So everybody wants to be helped right when they call. But I work for a very large city, so nobody understands that there's way more people than firefighters. So whenever you show up, we get there as soon as we can, but sometimes that's not fast enough for people that don't understand that concept. So if they've got a family member that's dying, they want solutions when they called, not when we get there.
So
and sometimes it's pretty critical stuff, and sometimes it's just stupid stuff that people don't understand.
Like my dogs are fighting.
Well, no, that's it gets way more ridiculous than that sometimes, but
So just out of curiosity, maybe this isn't information but just your particular department, do y'all have like an average response time that they make y'all aware of?
So I think the national average is kind of the goal. In major cities, they want us to arrive in like 4 minutes or around there.
Damn.
So from the time that we get dispatch from the city, and that could be delayed through dispatch, but when we get notified of the call, we show up right away. And so we have 4 minutes from leaving the station to getting at the house. And another deal is that changes that is depending on how far it is. If it's in our first up district, then that's pretty easy. But if the whole city is slammed, it might take us, crossing 2 or 3 or 4 districts on a normal day, and on bad days and days where the city floods, we might have to drive across the whole town, so.
Yeah, and I could see where
response times can change.
I could see where people are pissed off, like just not a realistic expectation of I want help now. Come, why were you here 3 minutes ago? Why weren't you here 3 minutes ago, or whatever the case may be? I could see.
Yeah, and we also catch a lot of flack from the police because what I've heard is that the police get to on their computer they see runs come in and they kind of pick and choose what runs they get. And I don't know how true that is, but people that are waiting for the cops sometimes wait an hour, and then when we show up, they're like, "Well, how come it took 4 hours for the cops to get there?" I say, "Well, I don't know. I came as soon as I got it, as soon as I got notified, but I don't know what their holdup is."
Dude, I've had something like that happen. You call the cops, and I called them. It's just some property crime stuff, and it took them so long to get there, I forgot I actually called them. So when I knocked on the door, I opened it, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, that's right. I called you.
It must not have been important.
It wasn't that important, no.
A few years ago, we even went to this system where, because the neighborhood that I work in is pretty sketchy, so they've changed our protocols. So depending on certain calls, mental health, shootings, stabbings, aggravated assault, the fire department doesn't even get notified of a call until police call for us. So if it takes them an hour to get there and then they call for us, it's going to take even longer.
Yeah, hour and 4 minutes at best case scenario.
Damn.
Yeah, and if somebody got shot, and most of the time when somebody's shooting, the cops will show up quick. But if they don't, then that's reasons that people stop liking what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, so I can't remember who it was. Someone was telling me at some point that there's some of these places where even the paramedics are coming. It might have been you, where even the paramedics are coming in wearing Kevlar vest. Is that a thing that you've ever seen?
Yeah. So, let's see. About 6 years ago, whenever I got to my station, I was working either New Year's or 4th of July, and it felt like being in Fallujah. We had fireworks being shot into our apparatus. Paramedics were getting injured from blast, and one of the apartments that I had gone into, it was so bad that the city shut us down. They said no more going in there without a police escort.
Damn.
And so the next year we got issued helmets and bulletproof vests, or plate carriers.
And we're talking about America.
So now,
you're not fighting fire. You're not a fireman in Afghanistan. This is a U.S. city.
No, North Texas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But, yeah.
So that's not. So that is. So how is that still something that paramedics actively do in those areas, or did that, like anything, does it kind of come and go for a little bit and then fade kind of away?
What? I mean, my district is like that almost weekly. But of course, on holidays it gets worse.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Like, we are literally here to help. We are literally. Our mission is here. We're not taking anyone to jail. We're not doing anything here. Our whole mission is to get you to the hospital or stop your house from burning to the ground.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's been incidents of firefighters, like I think even around us that have been shot at or even killed. I don't know.
Have you ever known a fireman that was shot at or have heard that story?
We've got a guy on the department that I think I was in paramedic school, but he showed up to a house and somebody came outside and started shooting at the rescue, and one of our guys got shot, and I don't know. I think he still can't walk.
Damn.
That's
wild.
But yeah, I mean,
that is crazy.
I mean, and mental health can change rapidly. So I mean, I don't know if that's what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was.
So do y'all deal with a lot of being in a major city? I mean, what percentage do you think of the stuff y'all deal with is a mental health? I mean, is there a lot of mental health issues that you're dealing with as a firefighter, paramedic?
Yeah. So I bet the majority of our calls are mental health. Whether it's diagnosed or not is a whole nother thing. But, some people, and the scope of mental health is expanding so rapidly that kind of everything falls into it now. But, somebody could just have, they may say that schizophrenia or something that you're just kind of going to get genetically is mental health, or it could be drug induced or anything like that. But yeah, there's a lot of it.
I got a question about that. So one of the things behind the whole defund the police thing it wasn't so much to get rid of the police, but to take some of their funding and put it towards unarmed mental health people to go out on these calls. I always thought that was a good idea. Maybe they should have a cop with them, but...
Did you laugh? Did you? Or did you...
Me? No.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you...
No.
But it just seems like it'd be a good idea to have somebody that's trained in dealing with fucking crazy people, who go out there and deal with crazy people and see if they can talk them off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, I
think there are... I think there's a lot of programs that are developing like that. Now, like I said, mental health can change so rapidly that what we have is a paramedic, a police officer, and a nurse or a social worker or something like that. They ride around in a SUV all day as the three of them roll together. And so they still have they still have protection, because you never know what some of these
goes lit
drug cases or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I'm rolling around, if I'm the mental health guy and I'm rolling around, and maybe it's just my personality, or maybe it's just me as a person, maybe not my personality, but I'm armed, bro. If I'm dealing, now maybe I'm not armed openly, but if I'm rolling around and my job is to deal with crazies, maybe I'm not the person for that job. Maybe
Probably not. But it just made sense to me to have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I couldn't do that either. Like I've put a lot of thought into it, and it's not something that would really interest me to do that the entire day. Just go from one to the next. I understand that I deal with it a lot on the ambulance, but I still get some other medical stuff also that changes the game for us.
Yeah.
I definitely couldn't do it. I don't like people enough. I'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna kill yourself? Fucking do it then. Hurry up.
Come on.
Fucking get this over with. I got a body bag in the trunk, dude. Let's do it."
You're definitely not the one for that job.
No.
Anyway.
I'm not.
So
I'll hold the gun for you, guy. Let's just pull the trigger.
Kills that. She wanted, or she made an attempt, but what I wasn't thinking about is, I was like, you don't want to do that, because that would be an incredibly painful death and it would take forever. And her husband was like, dude, don't give her advice on next time. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's
next time. Go down the wrist, not across. What are you, an idiot?
So I can only imagine working in a major city, in a less than desirable neighborhood, the stories that you have must be unreal.
I mean, it's pretty entertaining. For the most
Western.
part, we'll sit there and yeah. Well, so the whole thing where I said that our protocols changed and you weren't supposed to arrive without police has changed for the majority of the city except for my station, and really just my shift, my crew. We still roll around like cowboys, and somebody's trying to be aggressive, and they hopefully aren't calling on our shift because our guys aren't backing down. And for a while, a lot of us were vets, and we had some Army and Marine guys, and they were kind of itching for a little bit of
itching for a little action.
They were bored. They wanted some shit to go down.
Yeah, and I asked the cops. I said, we come down here after school for the excitement, the murders, the drugs, the crime, all that. What do y'all come down for? And this cop was like, I just want to fight somebody.
God damn.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
thanks for being on our side.
That's what you want in the nation's peacekeepers, right? I just want to fuck somebody up. That's why I come to work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
So just what's a crazy story, something you'd want to share? What's something out there that you're like, I never thought I would have saw that a person. What I mean,
some of the more minor stuff, like the day-to-day that we deal with. Just last shift, this guy, somebody called for unconscious guy. He was laid out in a gas station parking lot. And when we showed up, everything turned out to be fine. And whenever he woke up after all of our medical interventions, I said, "What happened, man?" He said, "Man, I found this green pill in the parking lot, and so I smoked it."
Smoked it
out of a piece of foil. I said, "It was in the gas station parking lot, right?"
God damn.
Yeah. I said, "That was probably the worst thing you could have done, man." He's like, "Yeah."
He smoked a pill?
Just a random pill on the ground at a gas station.
How fucking thrown off do you have to be to think, I'm going to smoke this thing? I don't know what it is.
As soon as we gave him some medications, though, he didn't want anything to do with me. We went through all our channels to make sure he was safe and fine, but he was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna get out of the ambulance now. I'm not going to the hospital." I was like, "Look, just don't smoke anything else, please.
Just don't smoke random pills off the gas. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's wild. I've never heard of such a thing before,
man." So that's kind of our normal day-to-day kind of people.
That's something you don't bat an eye at anymore. It's something just like
and then it goes all the way to we catch bodies floating down the river.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so everything that comes down from Fort Worth, we catch it. So
yeah,
everything that people say Fort Worth's cleaner, but it came from somewhere.
Wow. Well, I mean, so just crazy. I mean, how often do y'all get calls, do you think, that just a day in life that's like, this is a complete BS? Just, this was not worth our time.
We probably get, on average, 16 runs a shift. At our station. Our busier station is about 16 to 18 runs a shift. And I'd say for the most part, maybe 3 are actual medical emergencies.
Wow.
And the rest are nonsense. Everything from rectum bleeds to, I was pushing too hard. Now my booty hurts.
God damn.
So y'all have a big homeless population in your area?
Yeah. And I think most major cities do, but we have a lot of folks just kind of camping out, and I've gotten to the point where where I don't even think they're homeless anymore. Like they don't have a physical address, but this woman I was talking to, she's like, no, this is where I live. I was like, oh, it's a car wash. So you're, this is your home. She's like, yeah, I just want to live outside now. So, okay.
There's a lot of
Cool.
people that do that. They just want to be on the streets because they're tired of bills and everything else.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the definition on homeless is probably should change someday. They just don't want to own anything.
That's
they're content with that, then.
Yeah, you're cool. Content with that until you're messing someone else's property up. That's my
taking a shit on somebody's sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, I could care less if you're living. If you just went like, "Hey, I'm going to go to the mountains, and I'm going to live in the mountains." Okay, whatever. The moment
you can't beg in the mountains, though.
Right. That's the thing. It's hard in the mountains, right? Yeah. It's the moment you are tearing someone else's property up. But whoever, even if it's a corporation that owns that property, or even if it's something like that, that's where I kind of think it's somebody. Everything, and especially here, right? Everything's owned by somebody. There's no public land here, but yeah, I mean, so if you so do y'all have like the big? You see them in most of your cities now, like the big homeless encampments. Is that something that's in your area?
Yeah, I think we've got a few areas like that. We're just kind of accumulating homeless folks.
So is that something? So I guess my point to asking you that was is that something that, like, does that feel sketchy walking into it? Or are you numb to, like, you get a call and it's in this homeless encampment and you've got to be in there while you're in there? Is it something you get numb to, or as far as being in that type of environment? Or is it always still like you're like, I feel like I'd be watching over my shoulder the whole time?
No, I think I do probably come pretty numb to it. Like, it's just the neighborhood kind of, even the people that aren't homeless, sometimes they live like they're homeless in a house. So whether we're in a home or not, it all feels the same.
Like JD's house.
Shut up.
Oh no. It gets way worse. Wait, I mean, not saying your house is bad. But
no.
Sorry about that.
No, well, I mean, I guess just everything when that's your day to day.
You just get used to it.
You just get used to it. So, yeah. And then something I've thought, and I think me and you actually had spoke of this especially with like talking about the service members you have in that or that you've had department. Is that something you're, you think those guys are kind of looking for that camaraderie like they had in the service? I would assume so, right? Do you feel like that camaraderie is as good or better, or?
I would say it's probably as good, just different. Like, I mean, we're there, in the military. Everybody's kind of, it's life or death there too sometimes. And I was never in combat, so I can't go down that far or that way too much. But I mean, it still can be life and death. And then in the fire, in the fire department, it's very much life or death, and it's not always in a fire that's the problem, or dealing with mental health cases that might be shooting at us. But motor vehicle accidents are incredibly dangerous. I've always heard that was probably the more dangerous part of our job, even more than fires, because people will be on their phone driving to a car accident, and next thing you know, you get hit. Or I've had state troopers come flying through a crash scene around the fire department. So the way that we block on a highway is supposed to keep everybody deflected away. Mm-hmm. But I've almost been plowed over by a state trooper going the wrong way.
Damn.
Wow.
Did you ever see that video of I forget where it was at, but that cop arrested. The firefighters were working an accident, and that I guess he was a trooper. He wanted them to get out of the way, get off the highway so they could open it up. And he's like, "We're busy. We got shit to do." And so he arrested that guy.
I've seen a video of something like that. And I mean, just like you said, the fire department was working a scene, and the cop wanted him to move somewhere, and he said no. So they arrested him in his gear and everything.
Wow.
I imagine the officer was fired. Hopefully,
I would hope so. You guys ever had any standoffs with cops like that before?
No. For the most part, I would say that the officers that I deal with, and it could just be the neighborhood, but we all work pretty well together. And it could be because everybody's younger. It could be because everybody's kind of looking for the same level of energy. But yeah, I think everybody's, for the most part, is pretty well same page.
So 10 years as a fireman, you've been in some burning buildings. It's fair to say. Mm-hmm. What was that first burning building like? What was that first time like, oh, I'm really about to run in this son of a bitch? Like,
it was, I'd say it's probably more like a teenage boy getting a girlfriend for the first time. Really everything happened so fast that you had that air bottle on your back, and as soon as you go in, next thing you know, you're running out of air, and everything just kind of vanished on you. And as you get older, you can manage air better, and you understand what the heat's actually like, and everything kind of is better off that way.
That managing air, running in there, how long do you think, as a young fireman, first fire you run in there? What you probably don't know the exact time, but what do you think was the time frame before you ran out, or before you were like, I need to get out of here, I'm about to be out of air?
So the bottles that we have are supposed to be about 30 minutes. Of course, it's not going to happen because everybody's working. Like even with some time on, everybody's pulling their weight and working, and so what should take 30 minutes might take 15 to 20 minutes. But I bet you first time you run out, maybe 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes for sure.
Oh, wow.
Damn. That's an excitement right there.
Yeah. It's adrenaline.
Yeah. How many spare bottles do you guys have?
So I don't know about like rural areas and suburbs, but we have a whole nother unit that when you run out of bottles, or whenever you get a fire, they'll show up and start refilling for you. So we almost have a unlimited supply, but then we bring extras on the truck.
That makes sense. What's the biggest one you've been in?
Like the largest fire?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get 5-alarm fires every couple of weeks, every few 2 or 3 months, a couple 5-alarm fires, which is that's just a term for how much manpower you need. Each additional alarm is more apparatus and more personnel, but I mean, whenever you start adding that up, you're multiplying 2, 3, 4 units, and each one of those is 4 more people on each one.
Wow.
So I don't even remember the building for it, but kind of like what's going on out in Godley right now. I've been on a couple multi-alarm grass fires, which is not very common in a major city, but it's still, they've got some spots hidden around that can get out of control.
Yeah. So is it, to kind of going back to what is going on here right now, with the town has this is a rural town, so the town in a matter of minutes, man, pallets of water, people bringing ice chests, filling them up, just local people, right? They're now cooking down there for all the fire department, for all the fire departments there. Is that a regular thing? Is that something you see a lot, or do you think that's probably more of a rural area type thing?
I mean, not so much rural, but it's definitely to certain. What's the best way to say that? Certain cultures or communities might, take care of the fire department differently. I remember whenever I was real young on the fire department, it was about Christmas. Actually, it was Christmas time. Every single cabinet, filing cabinet, table, desk, everything, somebody was bringing something by. They were donating cakes, cookies, pies, water bottles, everything they could think of. They're just donating as much as possible.
Now, was that where you're having like a major thing go on, or is that just in general they were just bringing stuff around?
Yeah, I mean, that was a particular holiday, but for the, even when it's not a holiday, people would come by and be like, hey, we're thinking about y'all and we wanted to give y'all something. So, here's a pizza or something, just on a Wednesday. And I mean, it's not always for like Gatorade or water or anything. Sometimes it's just, hey, y'all did that. My dad had a heart attack the other day, and y'all came out and got him to the hospital. So thank you. Here's a tub of ice cream or something.
Now there's something.
But then there's some.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, then there's some neighborhoods that, like where I am now, the only time somebody's come to the fire station for anything like that was this lady. She brought some little tassels that had anti-communist Chinese party printouts on it. And so, well, thank you.
That lady knows what's up.
We'll look into it.
That's what's up.
That lady knows what's up. She may be crazy, but she knows what's up.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. You got a problem with the Chinese Communist Party?
Anyway, moving along before Dean gets sidetracked.
So I would just rather ice cream.
You just bring us ice cream. So something I know you've told me before and set them straight. So let's set our 3 listeners straight here on this. When people see a group of firemen at a grocery store buying groceries, that's not tax money that they're buying those groceries with, right?
No, not at all. Every day we come and pay we have a little pot of money that we get from our own bank account, get our own groceries.
But that is something that y'all run into pretty regularly.
People have a problem with it? I always thought it was, and I mean...
You always thought it was their money, or you thought it was tax money?
I thought it was just part of the budget of the fire department.
No. So,
it wouldn't upset me if it was.
So... I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I mean, I've had people come up to us at grocery stores saying that the fire engine was too heavy and it was going to break the foundation. And, then people come up and say, hey, you're welcome for whatever you're cooking for dinner. I'm glad I could pay for it. Like, we're actually not taking money from anybody for this. This is straight from my bank account.
So y'all at the beginning of your shift, y'all pitch in $5-10, whatever it is, to go buy groceries, or however y'all do that. It's not built into the budget. It's not the city paying for it. It's just like everybody else who's got to eat at work. Y'all are just able to go buy groceries and do it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I always thought it was just built into the budget for the fire department. So I've never been one of those people like, look at those fucking bastards over there.
Eating good.
Eating. Fuck them. I hate those motherfuckers saving people's lives all day long. What a bunch of assholes. They should starve.
Well, I mean, just just it kind of seems like a negative thing to do, right? Like I would feel bad even if it was a thing, right? Like let's say it was in the budget, which it's not. We've made that clear, but like it almost feels like a karma where if you're gonna go up to the fireman and say that, and then like there's a pretty good chance if he's at the grocery store that you're at that he covers your house, and you said that, and an hour later, you break your leg and you're home alone or whatever. There's a bone sticking out. They're still going to come help you, no doubt about that, but may not be as gentle as they're loading you up in the stretcher, right? Like, seems like bad karma.
And, and the grocery store is not I've done CPR in grocery stores, so.
Oh yeah, so you didn't even have to make it home, bro. You could have just said that and then fell out.
Thanks. I'm glad I fucking paid for your groceries.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna eat this ice cream.
Yeah, it's a sandwich, ice cream sandwich. So I know probably at the department you said department you're at is probably go, right? Like it's a lot of moving.
Yeah,
but run us through
even our slow one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Kind of run us through a slow day at the fire department. Just a slow day, maybe hanging out. How's it go?
So first thing in the morning, everybody shows up about 4:35. Probably the last person gets there around 5:30. Then you got to check out your equipment, make sure everything's still good, because the guys that were working the night before, it's 24 hours, so we have no end. It's just where you left off, I'm going to pick up. But
you just use the same equipment as everybody else? You don't have your own like special equipment assigned to you?
Well, so we have 3 shifts, A, B, and C shift, and like on the ambulance, it has everything that you need on it.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like the protective gear and all that shit.
Oh yeah, no, all my gear is my size. It's fitted for me. I have my own issue. But as far as all the equipment, all that stays on the rescue, and every run you have to restock. And then I put my bunker gear on it just to, if a fire does show up and I can get there first, and I'm going in even on the hands. So you check out all your gear and make sure that nobody lost anything the night before.
There's no hydrocodone missing.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah. The DEA would be furious.
I bet.
Yeah.
What happened to all the morphine that was in here?
Yeah, what happened to all that morphine?
Yeah.
So you check all the equipment out.
Yeah. So once all that's handled, everybody kind of comes together to clean up. Either clean the bathrooms, clean the hallways, wash the fire engine out, and then as the guys before us starts to wake up, and they'll leave if there's no runs coming through, then because we'll eat at the station, we'll sleep at the station also. But then once they leave, then we'll start cooking breakfast and kind of getting our day going, whether it's paperwork or any office work going on. If the chief's going to come by, you got to make sure everything's clean there. And it's like a never-ending fountain of coffee. So, and then each station is a little different. We're a lot more laid back because I feel like because we're so busy making runs that sometimes you may not be getting all the stuff as clean as it should. But I've heard like suburbs in their downtime, they might have to go to a community center and fold towels or read books to the elementary. Their folks are a lot more on top of, hey, you're getting paid by the citizens, so you're going to do your 24 hours of work. But our 24 hours of work is actually running.
Yeah. So would you change it, or I mean, would you, once you're at a station, is it something where you see guys like, man, I want to be at such and such station. As soon as I can get a spot over there, I'm going to that station, or is it basically like, no, this is mine. This is where I'm at. I'm here.
I mean, a little bit of both. Like, I mean, I've been at my station for 6 years. And I told my wife that I was only going to be here about 4 or 5 years. But it's busy and it's fun and it's entertaining. And she's like, "Well, you're supposed to be leaving soon." But I like the guys that I work with, and I don't want to leave and go somewhere that I don't mesh well with the other crew. So you really have to fit in. Or you don't have to fit in with your guys, but it makes a 24-hour shift every third day go by so much easier if you get along.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're there with someone, you're like, man, Carl over here is a jackass. I can imagine just like, I don't even want to see that dude. Yeah, I could see.
Yeah, we've had a few guys at the station who are like, all right, man, it's time to go somewhere else.
Where's Carl? He's off
we've
in
got
the back of that structure. I think he's out of air.
His bottle's tied up.
So is there pranks that go on there? Like, are y'all? Like,
oh yeah.
I imagine it's a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to the point that my daughter is even, and she's kind of messed up, but she comes up with some pranks. She's like, "Dad, when we take down all the Halloween decorations, you should put one of the zombies on the stretcher for the next shift that's coming in." I was like, "Oh," so, first thing in the morning, they open the doors to see a zombie. Okay,
that's awesome.
I mean, minor stuff. Whether it's you just set up a cup of water in the cabinet, so when they open it, it drops on them, or moving people's cars around the building so they think it was stolen. But,
so is there ever like a shift's better than B shift kind of thing, or that shift doesn't pull their weight, or?
So we've compared ourselves at my station before. A shift at the time, at the crews changed a few times since then, but the A shift seemed very, I guess, nerdy, because they didn't want to do anything. Actually, no, that was C shift. So A shift, they just kind of sat back and were lazy. They didn't do anything. They talk a lot of shit, but they wouldn't do anything. And then C shift, they were very nerdy. They always had projects going on. They always were, trying to rewire a computer or something.
And then
playing Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, and then B shift, us, we were kind of the ones that, the way that we ran the station and responded to calls, it was like the brother that shows up on a motorcycle with a hooker for Christmas. We played by our own rules.
That's awesome.
So
there,
we'd get in trouble for it, but.
Do you guys have a gym in the station?
Yeah. So the city will provide some workout equipment. A small space for a gym to work out, but there's a few guys that really like to get in on building their own gym. So I've seen a few gyms that it was completely bought by the firefighters, whether they put in a pot or the captain pays for the whole thing, and kind of goes above and beyond. But the city will give us a little bit of one.
Wow.
I just know that when my dad was alive, had that life alert because of our jobs. I was always gone, so I'd get alert that he fell or something, and I'd get to his house, and the fire department shows up, and these guys walk in, and I'm like, oh, I'm such a fat piece of shit.
These guys.
These dudes are all fucking ripped and shit. I'm like, oh, I'm not a real man.
I don't know what all they were doing, but it's I think that's sometimes false. I don't know many of our guys that are ripped.
Oh, these guys were
that
definitely
dad
ripped.
bod or
Most
out of shape.
Is there a PT test for firemen? Like an annual PT test?
We're starting to put one in, but for the most part, there has not been, and I don't think big cities do, but some of the suburbs will. They say, all right, you have to work out at least like an hour every shift,
Wow,
or 30 minutes every shift, whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
pretty
again,
job.
They might make 3 runs a day. They've got several more hours to catch up.
I've seen some cops that probably should do PT an hour a day.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers can get big.
Oh, man. Well, so I know you don't have a whole lot of insight of this, but I mean, we do talk kind of a lot of libertarian ideas and something that we've kind of kicked around. I'll let Dean kind of explain more of it, but public versus private fire departments. To my knowledge, you see some of the private fire departments somewhere where some area that's got like a gated community or something like that has that's in a high, California in the mountains or something like that. They'll have a private fire department as well. So Dean, you go ahead and kind of
smaller communities will they'll have a volunteer, but they'll also a private company will come in and sell a subscription for whatever, so many dollars per month or year or whatever, and they get a lot of shit, and I guess you could say reasonably so, but I don't know, because if you're not a subscriber and you call them, they show up and they're like, sorry, that house next to you, they paid for the service, so we'll make sure it doesn't burn down, but fuck your house, I guess.
That's pretty. I don't know that.
But you got to pay for it somehow, either through taxes or whatever.
Yeah,
it's going to get paid for somehow, some way.
Yeah. I just so I mean, do you have any thoughts initially? And I know you're maybe not well versed in that, but anything initially that sticks out to you where you're like, that's a great idea or that's a bad idea?
I mean, I looked into it a little, and it sounds like it's and some of the stuff I read, it says like an insurance company. So I mean, if you pay insurance, then they'll take care of your. If you have insurance and your house floods, they'll cover it. So I guess if it's the same thing, you pay for this fire insurance, then they'll work a little bit harder to make sure that your house is covered.
Yeah, I've never understood
the problem with fire, though. What's that?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said the problem with fire is that whether it's public or private, if your house catches on fire, even when we get there in a minute and a half, I mean, these homes are destroyed. So I don't know. It might be a waste of money. Because, I mean, your stuff is going to get destroyed. The only way to prevent that is to have a sprinkler system or something from the start.
But even that's going to destroy all your shit because everything's going to get wet.
Yeah. I mean, I think some of the ideas where I think it makes like really good sense is if, say, you are in a gated community that's in the mountains of California where we have wildfires all the time, and you say, well, this fire department, we're going to build this gated community, and you're going to pay into this fire department that's right here because it's a 40-minute response time for the volunteer. Even in this fire that's happening right now out here where we're at, some of the people that I know that possibly were the first people that called in said that it took the fire department 20 minutes to get out there. Now, if you knew where this and if you understood the area, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good response.
It was a good response time.
It's all volunteer fire department.
It's a volunteer fire department. So a 20-minute response time for those guys and it's not easy to get to. You're talking about, I mean, one of these places that's on fire right now is a 15,000 acre ranch.
Yeah, you're not going to drive those big trucks in there. You're going to be using little brush trucks to fight this thing, basically. So, I mean, I get it. If you're in the middle of, I get it on a whole lot of levels.
there is some. If we were to go to a national service like that, where you have to pay if you want a fire department in your area, you're going to have to pay into it. The problem I think you run into, and the problem you run into is the areas like what sounds like you're at. They're not going to pay into that fire department.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't even know how much of the taxes are getting paid, but
yeah. So someone else is footing the bill for that fire department, really.
Yeah, it's the free rider program.
Because I guarantee if I wasn't getting paid, I wouldn't be there. I mean, it sounds, I guess, kind of cold, but I mean, I'm only there for my family. I mean, yeah, I'm helping everybody else, but it's a job to provide for my family. And so if you're not paying me, then I'm not going to be there. Somebody else might.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to look out for my family.
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, just in general, if you're not paying me, I have to find a job. I have to find something else that pays for my family.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I maybe in those areas would come up with volunteer fire department if it was something like that. I was just kind of kicking the idea around. I think it's probably a great idea if, like I said, you live in a gated community that's got response time, or an area. It doesn't even have to be a gated community that's got a response time of 20, 30 minutes for the fire department to get there. Then if you want to pay into it. And I guess if your house catches on fire, well, you didn't pay in, and you didn't pay into it. You didn't pay into it, and we'll blast water all over this other place to make sure it doesn't catch on fire. But
it's the same thing with anything else. If you don't pay your homeowner's insurance or flood insurance and your house floods, well, tough luck, buddy. You gotta. I don't know. I'm all for the private fire departments, and I don't like the volunteer fire departments. I never understood why there wasn't a way for them to bill the homeowner's insurance for the cost of coming out and dealing with the structure or whatever.
It does make sense. It would be. I've never even thought about it that way, but it does make sense that the volunteer fire department could,
or even just the city itself. Why can't they? I mean, you got insurance on the house or whatever. Why not recoup the cost to the taxpayer by billing the insurance company? That's what it's for.
Yeah, and I mean, on a medical level, CareFlat or whoever, I mean, that's a private organization, and I guess it's different a little bit than a private fire department, but
they contract.
They come out and then they bill you afterwards.
And it's a lot. They bill you a shit ton.
But places like CareFlat, you can get on that $15 a month or whatever,
it's like $40 a year.
$40 a year, and if you need it, it was you paid your $40 a year.
If you're getting CareFlat, it's probably the worst day of your life.
Yeah.
So that bill's going to be worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad I spent that $40.
Yeah. Did you see the sticker on the back of my vehicle? It says CareFlat. Man. So, what do you think? If you had everything, I guess, to do it again, we'll go that way. If you had to do it again, would you, at this point, the firefighter thing, you'd still go that route?
Oh yeah, the Navy was a blast. At the time, I thought the Navy was probably the best job I could have, being 18. And then once I got onto the fire department, I swear this is probably the best thing I could have done for me. I mean, the not being in an office, the level of energy that you have to have, at least when you're at work. It's so much fun and entertaining, I guess. But something's always new. Something's always different.
See, that'd be a good thing. It's always a new experience. It doesn't seem like it ever get boring. You're always doing something different.
And there's plenty of time where it gets frustrating, but it's always something new. Every time that door opens, it's something new. And if it's not something new, then we get really irritated. If you call us 4 times after 2 a.m. for the same nonsense, then that's the problem.
Motherfucker smoked another pill.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
get your finger out of your butt.
what? Yeah. I mean, I know. I'm sure. You've told me on, I guess, on a handful of occasions, some of the calls you have that were just like, just crazy. Like what, 2:00 in the morning, and I shit my bed, and
Yeah. So I mean, there's a million that, one day we had this lady, she flat out said, I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning at the hospital and I need you to take me there. When we told her no, she was like, well, I sleep better up there anyway.
Okay.
wow.
Wow.
That's not a way to get there. And then this one girl called us because she said my mouth is turned yellow. We're like, why? And she said, well, I've been smoking weed all day and I ate like 3 bags of Funyuns and now my mouth is yellow. Oh, so that's all the details we needed.
That's awesome.
Oh man. That's crazy. So the camaraderie is great. The new experience every day, new thing. I mean, I would imagine, some of it probably is like if you missed a day of work, you missed the fun, or you missed the excitement. I've joked about that, years past at our job. Well, they say, well, guys didn't ever used to call in. We're like, yeah, because they missed the party if they did, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Was it last year when I was on vacation? I mean, there was a text message string going through, and the guys were talking about some crazy stuff that was going on this morning, or this particular morning. And I was like, "What?" I mean, my phone was just blowing up. I was like, "What am I missing?" And it was something. So,
go ahead.
I got a question. Without giving the name of the city away, they had some pension problems. A year or two ago?
engine problems?
No, pension,
Like retirement pension.
Oh, pension.
Yeah. Did they ever get that? Did they get that sorted out?
Yeah. I mean, it's been going on for years. And I don't think it's a great pension, but it's good enough to keep people coming back. But yeah, I think they pretty well got it squared away, so that now we're actually bringing people in instead of just a steady flow of people leaving and quitting the city.
Instead of people using it as a stepping stone to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes we still get that. We'll put people through paramedic school, and then as soon as they graduate, we find out that they were in another application process the whole time. But we are getting more employees and getting them to stick around longer and longer.
And the retirement used to be like excellent, right? Because I know a couple years ago I knew a guy that had retired as a fireman, and he was telling me how awesome. I mean, just Cadillac of retirement programs, which is probably most jobs right now at this current time. If you talk to anyone that was in there a while back, it was great. So it's still what you're saying, I guess, is it's or maybe what I'm saying is it was awesome at one point in time, and now it's comfortable enough for you could stay there.
Yeah. So back, I don't even know how long ago. Some of the guys that were really benefiting it's about the point where they're already retiring, and a lot of them are gone. But their pension system was set up in a way that I don't even know all the details, but they were making some really good money with the deals they had, and millions. They were retiring with several $1 million.
Oh shit!
And then the city cracked down. They're like, "Hey, we're putting all this extra money into it, and y'all aren't gonna. There's not gonna be a pension left for the people y'all leave behind." And I mean, they didn't care.
Shit, no, they're getting theirs, right? Fuck them.
Yeah. So they finally put an end to that and got it squared away. Like I said, there's some people that say it could be better, but I think it's good enough to keep people sticking around for a while.
Yeah, well, everything can always be better. But
Yeah.
As long as they're sticking around, I guess that's all that matters. Because I know in like the city he's in, the officer for the cops, the pay was so bad they were like, screw this.
Yeah,
I can go one town over and make twice as much money.
Yeah. At one point in time, yeah.
Well, like now we've gotten to a point where I think once a year the city will look at the pay scale of all the suburbs and not match the highest one, but I think average it out. So our pay is the average of all the suburbs. So every time they get a raise, we end up getting a little bit of a raise, and
that's good.
That helps out a lot.
So, and y'all are union there as well, too, right?
Yeah.
Is there a high participation within? Because I'm guessing it's unlike, or it's you could choose either way. You can be union or not. I mean, it's a right to work state. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can choose, but I think for the most part, everybody's in it, and I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's a regular union type of thing, but it's like I don't even know how to compare it. I don't think it's the same kind of union that you have.
Yeah,
or
I mean, do you feel
the northern places have?
Do y'all feel the union is strong?
No,
really.
And I think really the only thing we do is the only thing I've ever heard of the union being used for is if if somebody says my family was mistreated and I'm going to sue the city or sue the paramedic or sue whatever was going on, then we'll say, okay, we've got representation at court, and that's kind of the biggest reason that I've ever heard of the union being used. But I've never had to deal with them, so I don't know how well that works.
Yeah. Be interesting to figure out if y'all were the same, because like up in the Northeast, those fireman unions are going to be thick. I mean, they're gonna. So I'd be curious to know if it was the same unions. I mean, it's a right to work state, so they're not going to be as tight as some of those other places. But I'd be curious to know if it was the same.
A good argument to have would be, should there be public employee unions in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a topic there.
Yeah, I definitely have my opinion on that.
But, yeah. So what's the craziest story that you're willing to tell us on here to our handful of listeners?
I've told you one before. I'll bring it up again, but I kind of feel like I feel like this story is very common, and I don't know if it's the same guy or if it's just a very common occurrence when you get this disability. But maybe it is the same guy, and he got a colostomy bag on the side of his abdomen, and he's gone around at least this city, and I imagine. And like I said, other fire departments have the same story, but I know from this guy's mouth that he's prostituted he's used his colostomy hole for prostitution.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah. I don't know if it counts as anal, but
God damn. That's so gross. How thrown off do you got to be, first of all, to like, let's make fuck your stomach hole. And then like the guy's like, hey man, I kind of want to fuck your stomach.
Yeah. Well, the way that I had this conversation, this guy called us out because the piece of his intestine that is the problem was coming out of his stomach. It looked like an appendage, I guess, hanging out of his gut.
God.
And he was behind 7-Eleven with somebody, and I was like, dude, either go to the hospital or don't call me back. Like, but this is your chance. Something's going on. I'll take you to the hospital, but you're not going to call me back later after you've blown this opportunity. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. So then I was like, what are you even doing back here? So that's when he explained it to me. And so then the next shift, so 3 days later, he calls back and said, no, you're not going with us. You've had 3 days. And so he said, look, fine, I'll just go to the fire station. So he came up to see us. And we said, you are not getting in that ambulance with the amount of poop that had drained out of his stomach.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, from his stomach to his leg was just covered in nasty.
God
and,
damn, dude.
So we had to we had to clean him off before
y'all cleaned him off.
Did you just hose him down?
Well, we just hosed him down, but that was the problem because we thought we were helping him by cleaning him up, but somebody took a picture. The picture looked very bad with a bunch of firefighters kind of spraying this black guy off. Because in the picture you couldn't see all the nastiness on him, but like, okay, well.
So it looked like y'all were like, no, dude, you stink. So the picture looked like, no, you stink. So before we let you in here, we're going to hose you down.
No, that's what it was, but it looked like a history book, when segregation was going on and they were just blasting African Americans with fire hose. That's what it looked like, even though we were trying to clean him up.
Wow.
All that.
I want to know
his, fetish.
So are we talking about a homeless man, or are we talking about like a guy that's gainfully employed that has this as a side hustle?
No, he's homeless.
So I want to know, like one day you're just that broke that and all of a sudden, the bing light bulb goes off and you go, I can make a 20 right here.
But I want to know about that guy's fucked up, right? I want to know more about the guys that are fucking his stomach with the poop.
You want to know more about those guys?
I want to know why. I want to know why they're doing that. What's going through their mind? How messed up are these motherfuckers? First of all.
Oh man. Yeah.
But I mean that's probably one of the dirtier kind of the nasty jobs. And I can't do stinky smells. So if somebody calls me and they've got if they've messed themselves, I throw up.
That's every time. I could just picture a bunch of firemen standing there going.
We had one guy that he was a paraplegic, and he would always call us at one point he was the most. He called more times than anybody else in the entire city for the whole year.
Wow,
that's a thing that they keep track of.
Yeah, he called 260 times a year.
Jeez,
wow.
So at some point they finally just said, "All right, we're gonna put an end to this." So he did some very similar stuff. I don't know if he let people access his colostomy bag, but he was into some nasty stuff also, and he'd mess himself and put makeup on and play in his poo
and then call the fire department.
And then call us because he had breathing trouble. Well, it got so bad that after seeing him so many times a year, I said, "Man, I have no sympathy for you anymore." And he stunk so bad. Every time I saw him, I threw up. God. So I quit caring if I hurt his feelings. And we'd show up to his house, and I'd grab his trash can and vomit in the trash can, and then go on with the rest of the emergency, or what he said was an emergency.
Jeez.
But, I mean, yeah, I just vomited in his house because...
I figured you would have had a pretty strong stomach being a firefighter for 10 years and seeing car accidents.
But, I mean, I'm completely fine with blood and, body parts and car accidents where people were mangled or burnt or obliterated.
But the smells.
Something about the
doo-doo smells.
Yeah, the poop gets me.
God damn.
So,
I know where you're coming from right there. I can't do the smells either. I will be I'm the guy standing off to the side going, please don't throw up. If you throw up, I'm going to throw up. Please don't throw up. And then I'm going, yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies, he's really gotten onto this, and he likes to be extra gross. So he'll sit there and describe it. He's like, so what do you think about this? And like, how do those skin flakes taste as they float down your throat?
Wait,
What?
wait,
What
wait,
the
hold
fuck
on,
are you
hold on.
talking about?
Back up.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who's the cannibal at your station? That's fucking crazy.
Oh man. So
yeah, I mean, he's got to figure out what really.
Oh, so he's
me
just
out.
saying something.
And,
he knows what to
oh, yeah,
say.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Not that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he knows. He knows it's just as disgusting as anybody else.
So he
But
just knows what to
gets,
say to get your stomach upside down.
Yeah, exactly.
So that guy does what I do to you all the time. Just say off the wall shit.
Off the wall, horrible shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
great. There's got to be somebody in that group all the time, right?
You do have to have that person.
Yeah.
That person. So, man, what advice would you give to someone that was wanting to be a fireman?
You always got to start off with school. I think every fire department, you have to have some level of education to even start. And then after that, after you get started with school, there's really no end. Like even after you graduate fire school or paramedic school or anything, you always have to be learning. You always have to be willing to learn something new tactics, new techniques, everything. And as far as being a paramedic, the medicine changes every day. And so probably the biggest thing is just be willing to learn more and more. And once you've learned everything, get ready because it started all over again while you weren't paying attention.
Wow.
So there's always something new.
Do you think it's easier for somebody to get a job as a firefighter if they go to like one of those community college fire schools? Because I know Tarrant County has one. You can go to their fire academy or whatever.
I don't know how easy that is. I know that some of the larger cities that provide their own paramedic school and own fire academy and all that, they like even if you've already gone to fire school, they still put you through theirs.
Mm.
So it might look good on an application or on a resume. And for some of the smaller suburbs, that might be exactly what they're looking for. But some of the larger cities, if you have enough college hours, which is pretty low amount of hours, and then you're not doing anything wrong, not getting in any trouble, then some of the big cities will take most people if you're willing to put the work into getting hired.
And then the military as well, right? The military just getting you past that civil servants, giving you the extra
I think you
points.
get a little bit of benefit there too.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Well, man, this has been great. I think this will be a good one. We'll definitely have to do it again. And
all right.
I appreciate you coming on here and letting us know
letting us know
the daily life here of a fireman and what's going on. So
thank you for having me, and I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bud.
No worries. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll let you know next time we get on here how the fire in Godley's going. Or how long it took. So
hopefully it doesn't burn everything down.
Hopefully. So I'm gonna get to the fire hall and help cook these guys some dinner while when we finish up here. So next time, guys.
All right, thanks.